Rumors of foiled child kidnappings have parents on super high alert tonight. We'll look into the stories. And will the poultry farmers be compensated for killing off tens of thousands of chickens when there was no avian influenza? We'll ask the Minister of Agriculture. Plus, cane farmers come to the city to help clean up after Lisa. We'll talk to them. Also, what is the official assessment of housing damage in Belize City? We'll have the official report. We've got details of these and other stories in our newscast for tonight, Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. Good evening. With your news, I'm Indra Craig.
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor.
Ignite the innovator in you with Dell. Cellular World is an authorized partner for Dell Technologies. Whether you're looking for equipment for personal use or to transform your business, Dell Technologies can provide you with the right equipment to suit your needs. Dell is more than just desktop computers and laptops. The full line also includes monitors, data storage solutions, keyboards, docking stations, and other accessories. This is technology that makes it possible and provides solutions for every situation. Shop for your Dell products at Cellular World, your #1 Dell authorized partner in Belize, and get all the technology you want for less. Bring your brightest ideas to life with intelligent technology. Cellular World, authorized Dell partner.
Atla Express is a service that allows you to perform financial transactions conveniently at your neighborhood stores countrywide. Enjoy the convenience of cash withdrawals, bill payments, credit card payments, top-up, or transfer between your accounts. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Non-Atlantic Bank customers can also enjoy this service by paying with cash. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you.
Boy, I have a story. It's a true story, but we got a story that I need to tell. Boy, I needed some cloth and some material for sew me curtain. I needed some help. Boy, I was up and down all over the tongue and up and down and searching around and up and down all over the tongue and up and down and searching around. Then I come to Mikado, I couldn't get in. In a Mikado, the people rushing. In a Mikado, I fight for getting. And when I get in, I couldn't believe it. What? Mikado got it. What? The best in the fabrics. What? Mikado got it. What? With better prices. What?
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Our teams at BEL continue to address issues responsible for a few customers still without electricity in previously restored areas affected by Hurricane Lisa. Specific issues are primarily due to repairs needed to customer service lines, low voltage lines, and transformers. To make a report or for inquiries, call 0800 BEL Care. That is 0800 235 2273. Message us on Facebook, WhatsApp at 610-0672 or email belcare@bel.com.bz. BEL, we continue to serve you.
Safe, welcoming, the start of a new chapter. Your home is one of life's biggest investments. Let's protect it. Have you made any recent additions to your property? If so, your home may not be adequately insured. The average clause states that if the amount insured is less than the cost to rebuild, you, the insured, will become your own insurer for the additional amount. To better understand this, let's look at two homes equally valued at $150,000. Home 1 was insured for $150,000, but later, an additional $50,000 was invested into the home. This means that the home is now inadequately insured for only 75% of its value. Home 2 was insured for $150,000 3 years ago, and you haven't invested in any additions. However, inflation and the rising cost of building materials mean that rebuilding the same home today will cost $180,000. This means your home is inadequately insured for only 83% of its value. Therefore, if both homes suffer a $50,000 claim in damages, Home 1 will only be entitled to 75% of this claim, $37,500, and Home 2 will only be entitled to 83% of the claim, $41,500. To avoid this from happening to you, we invite all policyholders to call your Atlantic Insurance agent for guidance today. Being adequately insured gives you the peace of mind to focus on family and life's precious gifts. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Tonight, parents are on high alert after reports emerged alleging that the child kidnappers are on the prowl. It may be one of those empty scares, but parents are taking it seriously. Find her baby. The child, a 6-year-old who attends St. Peter's Anglican School, went missing after classes finished at 2. Her mother launched a desperate search, called everyone she could, and got the police involved, which led her back to her daughter at around 4:30. She told CTV3 what the child said about her whereabouts.
What happened yesterday?
My daughter get lost. I was looking all over for her. I mean, I was looking all over. Even I wanted to search under the rocks if I know if I can see my daughter there. It was a horrible feeling. It was a horrible feeling. We searched all over in the school. I find my bigger daughter. She was in her class. I call her and she say, "Mommy," I tell her, "Where is the little sister?" He say, "Mommy, I don't know where she is." He say, "She didn't gone with Tio Luis." I tell her, "No, Tio Luis says she's not there." So she said, "Mommy," "where Risi could have go?" I tell her, "I don't know. Let's go find Risi." I asked everywhere, even got way to ENR. I walk way back by SP. I even went and I say, "You know what? I can't do this by myself. I call all my family members. I call people that I know, and I say, "You know what? I need to go to the police station." And I went there and I tell them, I went through inside the police station. They say, "Miss," "you can't just come through." I tell her, "Miss, I just need your help." There was a man who told me that he recognized my daughter that was playing here in park. But I said, "I have gone to park and my daughter's not there." And he said, "No," he said, "Yes," he said, "she's there." And I called her to come back. But I tell her, didn't. Yes, she was with a Creole lady, with a little girl. They were playing. I said, "What?" He said, "Yes," he said, "she's coming." So I ran to see my daughter. My daughter came. My daughter was she was afraid, like if she was scared. Maybe she think that I will beat her. But then I say, "You know what? I can't just go and beat my daughter. I'm happy to see my daughter is alive, walking towards me." I just gone run to my daughter. I hugged my daughter. And when I saw my daughter, I asked her, "What happened? Why did you gone?" He said, "Ma," he said, "there was a lady." She doesn't differentiate in Creole or Garifuna. She told me, "Ma, it's a black lady with a little girl." I was standing there in the shop and they told me that they will carry me to buy an ice cream. And my daughter's weakness is ice cream. So I say they trigger her in that. He said, "Mommy," I tell her, "Do you sure that's only that?" He said, "Yes, she carried me for an ice cream." He said, "And she took me." I tell her, we went to play, Mommy. And then the lady afterwards She ran, she went away. I tell her, but why you should, I have already taught you, do not talk to strangers, do not take nothing from strangers.
What would you tell parents?
Well, my advice to some parents is please be very cautious. Be on the vigilant for your kids. Take more care of them. Yes, maybe money is not everything in this world. We need to take care of them and show them love. We need to focus more on our kids. As me, I give my 90%, but now I have to give them my full 100%. Be extra more time with them and advise them more not to talk to strangers, because if this happened to me, it could happen to any other mother out there. And thanks God, I have the privilege, and God have mercy on me, I could see my daughter back again.
The child told her mother that when school finished, she walked over to her uncle's business, Yanni's snack shop, as she normally does. That's where she claims to have been induced to go and have an ice cream. And perhaps the news of that event is what sent a pair of voice notes whipping around the WhatsApp circuit at almost the speed of light this afternoon. It is from a senior police officer, ASP Carla Gamboa, who is also a mother. She seemed to be sharing information with the parents' school chat group about a very disturbing report of a foiled kidnapping. Here's what she said.
CIB officers have interviewed the child in the presence of her parent, and the child was really shaken up and doesn't really want to go in depth. However, the child is saying that this occurred at 88 Shopping Center that is located corner Penn Road and Central American Boulevard by the stoplight. She is saying that she was coming to school this morning. She was approached from behind. Occupants of the vehicle were two dark-complexioned male persons, and the van is black and tinted. Presently, police are investigating the matter, trying to view cameras in the area. For right now, I'm asking all those on this blog or who could pass on this information to alert and inform people to have their children be on the lookout. I get to understand this said van was in Ladyville.
The matter has been forwarded to Precinct 1, but at this time, police have given no official confirmation about the report. In September, 30,000 chickens were slaughtered after laboratory tests confirming that avian influenza had been detected. But as we told you last night, those were false positives. Follow-up testing from the U.S. confirmed that there was no avian influenza in Belize. So that meant that the owners of the affected farms lost $100,000 in chicken stocks due to the scare of a disease that wasn't even in Belize. So how will the Ministry of Agriculture and the farmers resolve those costly consequences? Well, that's what our news team asked Minister Hossemai today when we met him at another event. Here's what he had to say about the difficult conversation government will have to have with the poultry sector on this issue.
We are guided by science. When we sent those samples to Georgia, they came back positive. 2 tests were done and they were positive. Subsequent to that, afterwards, I understand that more tests were done from another lab, and it said that it was a false positive. But we cannot wait on a confirmation of a lab 1 month down the road to act. If this is a disease that is threatening the entire poultry industry, then we have to act. And so Baja, as the front line of animal health and plant health, had to make the very tough decisions. The important thing, though, now is that the disease is no more. The serologist test shows now that the animals may have been infected because the antibodies tests were positive. Now, and this decision was made in partnership with the Poultry Association, the poultry producers. It was not a decision made alone by Baja. They agreed to this is the way to go if we are to protect the industry. The important thing is that we don't have the disease, and if there would have been any risk, it is not there. But we cannot wait for confirmation 1 month afterwards to say that we will act on the birds. And we could have acted, as a matter of fact, following the UAE standards, could have acted even more stiffer. But we had to manage the situation and ensure that we are doing this in the best interest of the farmers and the industry.
The idea that, look, the farmers should get compensation for the destruction. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I've met with members of the association, and that is not what I get from them, the farmers themselves. If it is a position of 1 or 2 people, I do not know, but dialogue has to continue. And we have to sit down and decide how we're going to move forward with this. I don't know that he said that he wants to sue or that he wants compensation. I don't know, but that is something that we can discuss in the very near future, right? The important thing is that we do not have the disease. And even if there would have been, the measures we put in place would have avoided the entire destruction of the national flag.
Later in the news, you'll hear what Mai had to say about the ongoing impasse in the sugar industry before the start of the next crop season, which is about a month away. We'll take a break now. When we come back, Caneros came to the city to help clean up today. We'll have that story. Plus, we'll have the official count of storm-damaged homes in the city in numbers and millions of dollars. Don't worry.
Excuse me, sir?
Yeah.
But how can you pay with your phone?
B-Box.
What? What is B-Box?
B-Box have been his newest rewards program.
Really? Where I could get it from?
Man, check on the website bbox.bz or you could download it from the App Store. And if you still don't know, check that young lady there and share hook you up.
I will surely do so. Good afternoon, miss. Can you hook me up with B-Box?
Skip the trip to the bank and perform cash withdrawals at your neighborhood store with Atla Express. Withdrawals are now free, and customers can withdraw up to $300 daily. All you need is your Atlantic Bank Visa debit card along with an ID. Atla Express is easy, convenient, secure, and near you. Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
I must be dreaming.
Oh no, honey bun, you're not. Everything you hear so far, that's true. Delta Store has a new look. Delta Store is at the same location, right down Albert Street. Delta Store has a wide variety of fabric. Delta Store offers quality and savings. Everything in a Delta Store is only $4.99 or less. Snap out of that dream and head on down to Delta Store today.
Mr. Ronald Gordon, our Chief Met Officer, confirmed that Lisa made landfall at 3:20 p.m. yesterday, 3rd November, 10 miles south of Belize City.
The impact of Hurricane Lisa on Belize City has been devastating. Families, lives have been disrupted. People, livelihoods, business livelihoods obviously has been severely impacted. The goal really is to transform these hurricane weather-beaten streets and neighborhoods into livable, traversable spaces again. Getting back to some measure of normalcy. It's a wide cross-section of partners encompassing both public, private sector, of course being led by the government of Belize, the Ministry of Infrastructure. We have NEMO with us, we have CIMO, We have the Belize City Council, the Orange Walk Town Council, the BDF, the Coast Guard, and a wide scope of other partners. Obviously, their efforts here today is being met with great enthusiasm and optimism by the people of Belize City. For us at CITCO, it means more muscle on the ground to achieve the task. We face one of the greatest natural disasters ever brought upon the city in my lifetime, in their lifetime. We face it together. Now it's even more important that we face the recovery process, the rebuilding process together. We must exercise patience on all accord.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Social Security, transforming service delivery. My Social Security is your secure online account to manage all your Social Security information. My Social Security launched in March 2021 with registration service to apply online for new or replacement Social Security cards. Upgrades to My Social Security continues with a new look, enhanced customer experience, and its newest feature, Sickness Benefit Online application. With My Social Security, you can create your account, log in, and take control of your Social Security information. This includes applying for a new or replacement Social Security card for yourself, child, or dependent, make appointments online, and submit your complete sickness benefit claim package. Our customer care team is here to provide you, our valued customers, with real-time support. Connect with one of our customer care agents through direct messages on WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, or live chat, or follow our YouTube channel for more information, tutorials, and guides. A complete 360 view of your Social Security information is coming soon, which includes a new employer portal for employers, businesses, and self-employed persons, contributions history and statements, all SSB benefits, medical portal for registered doctors, and fingerprint enrollment all in one place. Social Security at your fingertips. The significant enhancement of service delivery to you is here. My Social Security.
And this just in, the Tough Enough Tours basketball team was last seen going into Mapes Beauty Salon, getting their manicure ring fingers done because they have punched their ticket to the IBL finals. But what about the Belize Coast Guard and the Central Health Customs teams? A third and decisive game must be played to determine who will advance to the big dance. It's the dream game all players dream about. Playing game and hit the winning shot to send your team to the finals. So who is it going to be in this decisive Game 3? Who will advance to the grand finale for a chance to bring the Venice IBL Championship ring? The Coast Guard played like Hurricane Lisa in Game 1 of this 3-game semi-final series. But Central Health Customs answered the call in Game 2 like Wild Gilbert. No, it's down to one game and one game only. Wild Gilbert! This is as big as it gets. The Belize Coast Guard, led by Buddy Alberto, Party Flowers, John Kelly, and coached by Darren Bovell, battling against the young and upstart Central Health Customs team, who will answer with the #1 point guard in Belize, Glency Cooper Lopez, fresh off a 30-point performance in Game 2, alongside Stephen Wade and Akeem Evans, trying to send the Coast Guard back to their base and be the last man standing. The last man standing! Remember, it's this Friday night at the Belize Civic Center, 8 p.m. sharp. One game and one game only to determine who will advance to the finals.
Just another level!
Sponsors: Racina's Imports, J&W Supermarket, Mahib's Wholesale, Barefoot Hotel, Cabana Used Clothing, Midway Wholesale, Mirage Belize, Car Guys, Harris Import, Prestige Auto Sales, Cellular World, Fashion Store, VIP Wireless, Nando's Wholesale, Benny's Home Center, Crystal Water, Sprite, Powerade, Travelers, Channel 5 and Channel 7, Creme, Wave, Love FM and More FM. Let's get it on!
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Last night, a Ladyville resident known to us only as Moha was knocked down near Selena's restaurant. He was rushed to the hospital where he was reportedly treated and released. Other Ladyville residents told us that they saw him walking the highway in the village today with his head bandaged. According to one resident, he lives in the Japan area and is known to regularly walk around the village. He was knocked down not far from a yard where he usually hangs out. It is unclear at this time if the driver of the vehicle has been detained. And in other news, an Orange Walk businessman is out on bail after allegedly swindling a lawyer out of over $3,000, and it's the kind of car scam we hear about all too often in this newsroom. 2 years ago, attorney 67-year-old Mark Williams requested assistance from a car dealer, 37-year-old Jonathan Burgos, to purchase a vehicle from the U.S. and have it shipped to Belize. Burgos reportedly told Williams that he required payment of $3,500 upfront for his services. In September of 2020, Williams gave Burgos the money, and since then, Burgos has only given him excuses: no vehicle. Williams reported the matter to the police, and Burgos was detained on Tuesday in Orange Walk. This evening, Burgos was in Belize City Magistrates Court on a single charge of obtaining property by deception. He was unrepresented and pleaded not guilty to the charge. There was no objection to the bail, and so the senior magistrate granted it in the sum of $2,000 plus one surety of the same amount. His next court date is set for December 29th. On a good day, Belize City already looks like a storm hit it, so imagine after a hurricane really hit. I mean, that's what it's been like for the past 6 days after Lisa tore up this town. And the effort to restore the city has crossed political and geographical boundaries in an inspiring collective cleanup. Today it was the cane farmers from the Orange Walk district, men known to labor with their machetes, made the tall stalks of cane across fields that extends for hundreds of acres. Today they traded all that to get down and dirty in the urban jungle. Daniel Ortiz was there.
Today, a small contingent of cane farmers and sugar industry technicians from the Orange Walk district jumped into the Belize City cleanup campaign hands and feet first. Their compassion for the ongoing suffering of the storm-battered citizens of Belize City led them to postpone all cane farming pursuits and lend a helping hand.
We see in the news that you guys have been presenting the amount of damage that is caused here in the city. And as Belizean and as human with the little we have, we said we're supposed to come to the city and give a helping hand to clean up, to come into this cleanup campaign, and that is how we end out here today, giving that helping hand to the city.
The farmers of the country, I think, on a whole, are in solidarity with the people of Belize City, especially in these particular times. And I think that they realize that the assets we have in Orange Walk, the equipment, could be used very well in Belize City. They came out here today without any pay. All we did is provide them fuel for the trucks and for the loaders. Nobody's getting paid out here today, so it's strictly volunteer. But the farmers have a big heart.
At this time, they would have been in their cane field cleaning, their cane field spraying, or doing some husbandry at the cane field levels. And we have our field officers that they would have been going around doing some work that is for the association where we have to comply under fair trade standards. So, and we have the guys from CERDI also that they would have been doing other works within, but they are here giving a helping hand.
I think what is also in their mind is that today it is Belize City residents who are affected. Tomorrow it might be the cane farmers.
The biggest beneficiary of this demonstration of kindness is the Belize City Council, whose staff have labored unceasingly for several days now to clean up Hurricane Lisa's many messes left all over the country's biggest population center. Belize City Mayor Bernard Wagner and his team warmly received the farmers and instructed them where their equipment and manpower would make the greatest impact.
We are so thankful for the BSCFA for bringing that spirit, and that spirit has been on display throughout the last 7 days. I've seen it across Belize City, and people reaching out to the City Council, reaching out to residents helping each other. That's the spirit. Together we can. That's been happening for us. It has been pro bono. Most of the heavy-duty equipment you see out there is being done on a pro bono basis, but we still are able to quantify it, and we know by up to last week, Sunday, if they were charging us funds for removal of the debris, it would have been in the neighborhood of 243,000. So clearly, that's savings for the city and savings for the entire country, I believe.
The presence of these farmers isn't just a symbolic gesture of solidarity. Their heavy-duty equipment, which is used in sugarcane operations, is actually ideal for the efficient removal of all the downed trees and debris left behind by Hurricane Lisa.
As you can see, with the loaders, it's most faster to load the debris that is around.
These loaders, they work very efficiently along those lines in pulling up those big blocks of lumber, fallen trees, and so we wanted to deploy them in those areas where there are a lot of trees and shrubbery and debris.
This is learning from the experience of the Mexicans when hurricane hit Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum. The cane farmers in Quintana Roo responded immediately with 60 sugarcane loaders, and in 15 days they had cleaned up the entire tree areas. So this equipment is very good for this.
And the City Council could certainly use that high level of efficiency to remove the many tons of debris that's piled up on street sides all across the city.
Total loads taken out so far, I believe, is over 700. In terms of tonnage, over 20,000 tons have been taken out already. But we still have a way to go, and that is why we are so glad to have the BSCFA here with us today to really accelerate our efforts. Currently, we have employed like 44 trucks, and that number continues to grow each day. I was just told that Lopez Equipment will be pro bono as well with their trucks, so we expect to reach over the 50 trucks being in the city to really change and really get these debris out of the city.
But how many more days of work do you expect remain?
I still believe that from Monday counting onwards, we have like 12 to 14 days.
4 weeks, because originally you were saying 2 weeks, and now that gone up to 3 weeks.
No, not 3 weeks. Remember I said from this Monday that we started 12 days forward. And so 12 to 14 days forward. But I'm certain that we continue to assess as we go by and see how many workload we take out per day. Our target per day is like 200 truckloads we want to take out every day. And if we stick by that, we'll be able to achieve it within the 12 days.
The farmers say that they are willing to come back tomorrow if there is a need.
We're here for 1 day, but we'll see at the end of the day how things are. And if there is a need that we have to be here tomorrow, we will see what arrangements we can do.
One farmer did poke a bit of fun at their hosts, the City Council. He explained that Caneros don't like to burn a single minute of daylight when work could be happening.
We are happy to be here in Belize City to work. These are the cane farmers ready to work. We are just waiting where to go and jam. Sorry to say, but it's sad. But farmers, we work early in the morning. Right now we are late. We are thinking about lunchtime right now.
Reporting for 7 News, Daniel Ortiz.
Mayor Bernard Wagner said that a team of Citco employees worked very late last night to clean up the 4th Street tourism area in time for the first arrival of cruise tourists since the hurricane. And while the cane farmers were on the ground hauling all that debris away, most of the damage can only be seen from above. all those hundreds of roofs disappeared or damaged. Tabulating and assessing all these is the job of the Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing. They hit the ground in Belize City along with NEMO and the City Council right after the storm. They made a rapid housing assessment which was presented to Cabinet yesterday. The ministry's project engineer today told us what the findings are. We spoke to him via Zoom from Vetompam.
What we found is that a total of 392 homes have received some level or form of damage. And of that 284 homes, we would consider to be in either of the categories which we deemed as minor, intermediate, or major. And then we have estimated approximately 108 homes that have received some significant damage, which we would consider to be a total loss.
How can the MIDH assist these people? Let's talk about the people whose properties are a total loss.
Okay, so the plan is to take a two-phased approach. What we're looking at is a relief phase and a recovery phase. And the relief phase will focus on addressing the three categories that I had mentioned earlier, which entails the minor, intermediate, and major repairs. And then there is the recovery phase, which will address the 108 houses that will, entail the replacement or the total loss houses. We have a meeting set for tomorrow to discuss our execution plan and how we will be, going about addressing both phases.
What sort of storm resilient but affordable structures can the MIDH recommend for people in these challenged situations?
Yeah, so there's still a lot left to be discussed when it comes to the relief phase. But what I can say is that when it comes to the recovery phase, our plan would be is to execute the current modular homes design that we're implementing on our housing project. And we've seen that our modular homes design has actually withstood the effects of Hurricane Lisa. And our design also incorporates a safe area within the house, which is located within the bathroom that is a fully concrete area.
What sort of water damage did you all encounter?
Well, we've noticed that we've gotten reports and seen some effects that in some areas it was as high as 4 feet above existing ground levels. So there's quite a bit of surge that came in, So that's also another factor that has to be taken into account when you're constructing your homes. Being able to resist the effect of storm surge and even flooding. The current design that we have for our modular homes takes that into account. So any of the houses that we built in Belize City was well above that storm surge line.
The report estimates the value of damages in the city at $9 million Belize dollars. Their assessment is ongoing as more structures are reported damaged. And while the storm surge is one thing, roof resilience is quite another. The storm definitely showed us that many Belizean roofs were not built to withstand storm force winds or were not maintained to be storm ready. Escalante discussed what they found out about roofs.
A lot of the damage that we're noticing has to do with roof construction. And it mostly deals with a lot of poor upkeep, maintenance of these structures. Some of the structures that we've also seen has experienced damage because of poor design. And we've also noticed some wall construction when it comes to the construction of walls, especially in timber design that have experienced some damage as well. So I think it has a lot to do with the upkeep and maintenance of structures. And then on some part, like I had mentioned, poor design and maybe poor construction. You have to do your research to engage competent, qualified persons to not only do the construction side of things, but to actually develop the designs for you. And even probably offer some, level of project management to ensure that the specifications and details that are within the plans are actually being adhered to when construction is taking place. So we don't live in that area or that part of the world where we could, afford to cut corners. So we need to be serious about it.
And while that housing assessment is from the city, the rural Belize district was also hit very hard. The damage to those communities hasn't really been highlighted, but that is now the task that housing is following up on.
We know that Belize Rural was very hard hit as the storm went along. I've seen many compromised structures from Belize Rural. Will you all be making an assessment of the Belize district and those rural areas?
Yes, actually, we have teams currently on the ground today working in the rural areas outside of Belize City. And the ministry has also been instrumental in assisting various line ministries with assessments of public buildings as well. So what we did was we took a strategic approach in working along with the Ministry of Education in addressing any damages that were identified to several shelters in the Belize district.
That is the housing side of MIDH. There's also news on the infrastructure side. If you had to travel the Philip Golson Highway to get home this evening, you probably ended up being stuck in traffic. Throughout the day, there is a steady line of traffic near mile 7 due to the repairs being done on a portion of the retaining seawall in that area. And because of the construction works being done, traffic has been reduced to 1 lane and will continue to be so for 5 days. The Ministry of Infrastructure Development and Housing is asking road users to bear with the unavoidable traffic backup and to consider taking the John Smith Road to the George Price Highway. They also noted that within the construction zone, the speed limit is 5 miles per hour or as directed by flag persons. Early in the news, you saw Agriculture Minister Hussein Mai along with the cane farmers who came down from Orange Walk to help clean up the city. That press encounter allowed us the opportunity to ask about the announcement from Belize Sugar Industries Limited that farmers had received a total payment of $70.78 per ton for sugar cane delivered to the mill during the last crop season. This payment is the highest cane farmers of the North have received for their products in the last 5 years and the 4th highest since 2000. So what does Mai, who is also a cane farmer, think about that payment? He told the press today that he believes that it could have been higher.
Are you happy with the recent payment and the promised future payment for sugar?
I saw the last payment. I think they said it's the highest in so many years. My view, it could be better. My view.
But you'll take it. You
Why
can't
not?
do anything about it.
Why not? It's mine.
No, I mean
It's
that,
fine.
that you're not complaining. You say it can be higher, but you're okay with it.
Of course, it's better than what I got last year and the year and 5 years ago.
What's contributing to that best price right now?
The world market, the world prices, the world prices.
Are you concerned about the future one that they're already talking about?
I'm always concerned about it. In Belize, I'm always concerned about the prices farmers get for the sugarcane. Always. I've always been concerned. Because I'm a cane farmer. I don't own a cane field. I am a cane farmer. I know what it takes to grow cane. I know what it costs to grow cane. I know how much money is left after I pay my bills. So I'm always concerned for the price of sugar paid to the farmers in this country.
We also asked the chairman of the Orange Walk branch of the Belize Sugar Cane Farmers Association about this year's cane payment. Like the minister, he also believes that the figure could have been higher. He justified that position within the context of earnings in other sugar-producing nations.
Are you anywhere near satisfaction?
Well, if we compare it to last year, we have in the vicinity of $16 higher than last year. But when we see what is around the world, what is happening around the world in regards to prices, prices are very important in regards to the sales of sugar. Nevertheless, we believe that it could have been much better because when we speak to our neighbors around us, like if we speak from our neighbors in Obregon, they got over $100 Belize per ton of cane, and we are only in $70. So if you make the math, it's $30 difference than us. And if we see our neighbors in Guatemala, it's above $80. So it's $10 to $15 above what we got. Nevertheless, it's a little bit better than last year. But when we compare what transpired last year in regards to the climate, This year it was very hard for the farmers, for the group leaders, to bring out that cane and to take it to the mill because of the weather conditions. It was very rough. And also, if you can recall, when crop started, we had diesel like in the vicinity of $10 per gallon. But at the middle of the crop, it went up way up to $13 and almost 50 cents. So if you make the math, and when we compare the price that we got, we almost are break even with the price that is right now at $70.
But if you look also at production in Guatemala and Mexico, they have lower operation costs, I would imagine, particularly when it comes to fuel.
Well, yes, they have low. Their fuel cost is much lower than us, so that gives the opportunity to the individual farmer to make a little bit more of money, because if the fuel is lower, then your expenditure in fuel is lower. In our case, it's higher, so it just raises up everything. And if you can see, all around, when you go to grocery stores, everything has gone up. If you compare the prices that were there last year in November to where they are right now, it's a huge difference between that. And if you speak about the fertilizers and the herbicide, it double up, some of the material triple up to what they cost last year. So when you see the prices of the material that is being used for the cane field to grow up, it's a lot of investment that the farmers have to do.
Orange Walk branch chairman is also signaling concern from cane farmers about the estimates for sugar cane payment that the mill has produced for the upcoming crop season, which is supposed to start in about 4 weeks tentatively. According to those estimates, farmers should get an increase in earnings for their first payment, but according to Fred Ortega, that increase is conditional. According to Ortega, the calculations from the mill assume that the farmers will be able to maintain a certain level of quality of cane being delivered to the mill, and that if that quality falls, the farmers will get a lower payment. Here's his explanation on that matter.
Presently, we have an issue with them where we are negotiating a new agreement, and it has started from last year, and we have reached to this point, and we haven't been able to reach to that point where we can say that, okay, we have already gone through and get an agreement. So they brought out now the first estimate for the upcoming crop, on which they show that it is in the vicinity of $54.54 for this coming year, on which they are claiming that it's $3.16 more than last year. It's true, looking into the numbers, as you speaks about dollars, but when you see what they use to reach to that number, last year they used a TCTS of 10 tons. That means 10 tons of cane to produce 1 ton of sugar. Right now what they did, they brought it down to 9.39, which means 9 tons per 39, 0.39 will give you a ton of cane. On which when you make the conversion of that, you can see that what raised up the price for this year versus last year is the change of TCTS that they made.
So you're saying that because that number is lower this time, it means that the farmers could end up making less?
Yes, with this we have to fight a lot to achieve at the end of the crop that we should be within that vicinity of 9.39 or below, so that we can say that, okay, we will achieve that price that they have bring forward.
But will the next crop season begin without the difficulties of the last season? Viewers will remember that there was a very costly protest that members of the Belize Sugar Cane Farmers Association staged against the mill at the start of the last season. That's because the millers and the BSCFA were unable to resolve their protracted commercial disagreement, which persists even at this time, an entire year later. The two sides have been attempting to negotiate their way out of another costly fight for the industry, but all indications are that the process has been like pulling teeth. We asked the Agriculture Minister about the latest attempts from both sides to negotiate via an independent mediator. He was very careful in his description of the glacial pace of this process.
I believe that even if we do not have an agreement signed, we will have a crop starting. I am hoping, it is unlikely, in my view, and I may be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. To me, it is unlikely that we will have an agreement before the crop starts. The way things are moving at a very snail pace. But I believe that we can have a crop ongoing while mediation and negotiation is ongoing.
Any update on those mediations as of right now?
I don't want to speak much on that part. It's very sensitive, and it's fluid. It's moving slowly. So I prefer not to comment on that to avoid misinterpretations or taking things out of context.
When we asked Fred Ortega about the impasse and the latest resolution attempts, he claimed that the millers are frustrating the process of identifying a suitable mediator. Here are those comments.
The net strip value that is being used for many years, we want to change that as a gross revenue, and we have put to the table a 60-40, on which we are saying, come to the table, let us negotiate. But that is the thing that BSI don't want to do. They said before that they accept the 60-40, but in their terms. They don't want to change anything. They want us to accept what they are bringing to the table. We are not fools. We understand very clear. We know what the farmers need, and that is why we are calling them to the table to come and negotiate. But we have reached this point. We have called that we have a mediator. We have reached this point, and still yet BSI is playing jokes on not coming to the table so that we can get into an agreement who will be our mediator so that we can continue. And if that doesn't happen, then we believe that the government, even though the Prime Minister have said many times that these are private entities, but I think that as a government, they have a responsibility to see that an industry at the size of the sugarcane in the north, the amount of people that depends on the sugar industry, the government has to see that something is stabilized within the industry. The farmers are prepared, just as how you see the farmers were prepared to come and help here, to give a helping hand in cleaning the city. That's the same way the farmers are prepared to do what they have to do, because the farmers know the expense they have to do to produce a ton of cane.
As you heard Ortega explain, one of the inputs that are currently driving up production costs for farmers is the price of fertilizer. You heard the officials in the poultry sector explain several days ago the price of chicken had to increase because the price of fertilizer in Europe is high due to the ongoing war in Ukraine. Today, the press asked the minister about those prices at this time. He said that they have stabilized for now.
The prices of fertilizer so far have stabilized. It does not mean that if the war continues, it will not go up though. So we are monitoring fertilizer costs every single week to see how the prices are moving. If you see corn is rising, soybean price is rising. Again, all this leads to the war in Ukraine and Russia. So we have to monitor that carefully. Wheat, for example, when I saw wheat, the prices dropped the other day. They were going up, they remained stable for a while and will drop a little. So we are monitoring that carefully too.
The price instability for fertilizers coming from Europe is precisely why the Ministry of Agriculture and Belizean farmers are exploring the possibility of local fertilizer production. According to MAI, the preliminary attempts at this initiative have yielded promising results.
Our technicians and our farmers right now, and if you would have been at the World Food Day activity, you'd have seen farmers actually making the fertilizer. It is very good. I use it on my farm. It's very good. We are expanding that initiative because farmers like it. It works. It's cheap because you use your materials you have at home, and it works very well.
And we'll take a break now. When we come back, Bad Boys Make Good. Shine and Diddy team up to give a Belizean a scholarship to an Ivy League American university. We'll talk to him about it. Don't go away.
Atla Express es un servicio que te permite realizar transacciones financieras cómodamente en comercios cerca de ti. Con Atla Express puedes retirar efectivo, realizar pagos de facturas y tarjeta de crédito, comprar recargas y transferir entre tus cuentas. Solo necesitas una identificación válida y tu tarjeta de débito Visa de Atlantic Bank. Si no eres cliente de Atlantic Bank, siempre puedes disfrutar de este servicio pagando en efectivo. Atla Express es fácil, conveniente, seguro y está cerca de ti.
What is Medriva? Medriva is the easiest and safest way of booking a taxi or delivery service. Here's a guide on how to use our services. Download the app, available in the Google Play Store and the Apple Store. Tap where you're going. Your location will be picked up automatically, and you can change location by entering a business name, street, or PIN location. Select delivery or economy, the number of packages or persons, your payment option, cash, credit card, or e-cash. Tap confirm, and a driver will accept your booking. You'll see the driver's profile picture, name, license plate, and the color of the vehicle. You can also message and call the driver. You will see real-time tracking of your driver approaching you, and you will be notified when he or she has arrived. Rate the driver by your experience. An electronic receipt will be provided. Tap the hamburger menu. Tap points for every ride completed. With Medriva, you can earn cashback deals to use on your next ride. Tap promo code. This is your special code to share with family and friends to earn discounts on your next ride. Medriva, transportation at your fingertips.
We believe that the will of the people shall form the basis of government in a democratic society.
The first constitution of Belize was handed to then Premier Right Honorable George Price on the occasion of the nation's birth in 1981.
It is my very great privilege to hand to you these constitutional instruments, the symbol of your independence.
Since then, governments have come and gone, with changes made to the Constitution in 2000 and in 2008.
Today, in 2022, we ask ourselves, have we done enough to eliminate economic and social disparity? To promote gender equality? Are our laws relevant and fair? Is justice accessible by all without fear or favor? Are we fairly represented at all levels?
Are our rights being protected? Are our beliefs and differences respected? Our cultural values and diversity celebrated? Are we free to live and love, to learn and grow?
Let your voices be heard. The People's Constitution Commission is made up of organizations and entities from every sector in Belize. It is comprehensive and inclusive because any and all changes to the Constitution of Belize must be comprehensive and inclusive.
We believe that the will of the people shall form the basis of government in a democratic society. The Commission will be holding consultations countrywide. Come out and join the discussion. Let your voices be heard.
Our government, our Constitution. Let's Belizeanize it. The time is now.
Our teams at BEL continue to address issues responsible for a few customers still without electricity in previously restored areas affected by Hurricane Lisa. Specific issues are primarily due to repairs needed to customer service lines, low voltage lines, and transformers. To make a report or for inquiries, call 0800 BEL Care. That is 0800 235 2273. Message us on Facebook, WhatsApp at 610-0672 or email belcare@bel.com.bz. BEL, we continue to serve you.
Wake up to positivity and inspiration. It's a fresh and diverse twist on your mornings. Tune in to Sun Up on 7 every weekday morning at 6:30 a.m. right here on your nation station, Channel 7. It's the morning show you don't want to miss.
Time to wake up. Time to prepare for the day. Time to learn. Time to make a difference. Time to look after yourself. Time to see your healthcare provider. Don't let cervical cancer stop you from unleashing your potential. Now is the time to get vaccinated. Now is the time to get screened. Now is the time to end cervical cancer. For more information, visit us at www.paho.org/endcervicalcancer.
Excuse me, sir?
Yeah.
But how can you pay with your phone?
B-Box.
What? What is B-Box?
B-Box have been his newest rewards program.
Really? Where I could get it from?
Man, check on the website bbox.bz or you could download it from the App Store. And if you still don't know, check that young lady there and she will hook you up.
I will surely do so. Good afternoon, miss. Can you hook me up with B-Box?
This newscast is brought to you by Cellular World, your authorized Samsung distributor. Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The Charlie Burton Park is a small haven for kids living on Gibnut Street. Its founder, G. Michael Reed, stressed the importance of this safe space for kids who may otherwise be drawn into gangs or other criminal activities. And while Reed has ensured the upkeep of the park since he created the space, Hurricane Lisa knew no bounds, ripping up its zinc fence and its trees. So while the park is partially unusable, it won't be so for long. Through a collaboration with the police department, officers left their precincts and began chopping the trees and branches, removing them from the lot. And while Reed explained that he was grateful, he also expressed his disappointment that the neighborhood kids didn't volunteer to help clean up the park that they use so frequently.
You know, a funny thing, because I couldn't look through the window because I had a piece of board over it, but the next day when I came out, and I like, wow, this is a start all over again. Unfortunately, it's not as bad as it looks because the fence is still there. We just have to pull it up. I don't know if you saw the extent of damage there, but it was nerve-wracking. But I imagine when I think of what other people have gone through, it's not so bad after all. I'm hurted because, the trees were there giving nice shade. We had built some picnic benches underneath. And I mean, that part of the park, I don't know if we'll be able to replace them, how long it will take for grow back, if any of them will recover from the damage, no? But that basically the bigger part of the problem. I spoke to the commissioner, and he asked what he could do to help, and I told him, well, we need only manpower. And he said, well, no problem, G-Mike, we have some guys over there with a couple of machines. And so said, so done. They're here, and I'm really grateful. And a lot of times the police take a lick, you know. But when you really need them, they're usually there. So I have to say thanks to the commissioner and the entire police department for their assistance. I think the community has to be more proactive and get involved and do some of it on their own. So that was kind of like what we had in mind here. I was hoping that our guys who came out and use the park and play it would have been the one to take the initiative. We haven't been so lucky, and it really the part that hurts me the most is that the next generation, and I don't see a willingness on their part to be involved in the running of this country. I don't know where we are doing with the 2 years that we lost to COVID. The future, I try to be optimistic, but we're facing some problems.
Reed says they will work on stabilizing the fence with poles next, but will probably need to have a food sale to fund it. And the police officers aren't the only ones giving back to the youths. Leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, has secured a scholarship for one deserving student to attend Howard University in Washington, D.C. It's called the Sean Diddy Combs Scholarship because it's funded by a Howard alum and Barrow's buddy, P. Diddy. And he isn't the only well-known name to come out of one of the most prestigious Black Ivy League schools in the U.S. Other alumni include actor Chadwick Boseman, U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris, author Toni Morrison, and plenty of other notable names. And Barrow believes that if one young Belizean student from a financially challenged home is able to attend Howard, well, it could mean major progress for Belize.
I was in Los Angeles a few months ago, and, you know, Diddy always is interested in helping me, and I'm always interested in helping Belize. So he donated a large amount of money to his alma mater, Howard. I think he does it every year or every other year. And so I said, well, listen, I know what the experience in the United States did for me and how it broadened my horizon and enhanced me as a human being, the different cultures, the different people, just the entire different frequency. And I said, well, you know, this money is already going to Howard. It would be fantastic if a Belizean, at least one Belizean student could get the benefit of this experience. And a Belizean student who is financially challenged, as you could see the criteria, you have to come from a financially challenged household, and you have to have at least a 3.0 GPA. You have to write an essay talking about the field that you want to pursue, and you have to commit to return to Belize and use that degree for the benefit of nation building. When we talk about financially challenged, it's not about affording Howard, it's about affording University of Belize, or to go to Wesley Junior College or SJC. So financially challenged means being from a household where parents are making minimum wage, barely putting food on the table, and can't necessarily afford. There's some students that graduate sixth form and can't go to UB, can't continue to try to get their bachelor's, and those are the students we're looking at. It's a historically black college and university, one of the most prestigious in the United States. They've produced some of the greatest talents, as you've mentioned, politically, entertainment-wise, business. And so this is exactly what I want to give to a Belizean student, and I believe that that experience will be life-changing, and then that student could come back to Belize and impart all of the information, all the networking that they have gathered in that experience, and one by one, we can create a society of people who are thinking different, who are looking at life different.
As you heard Barrows say, the candidate must also have a 3.0 GPA and must write an essay about the field they are pursuing and how they will use the degree to help Belize. They must also return to Belize after they conclude their studies and contribute to the development of the country. Emails for consideration must be sent to loobarrowbz@gmail.com. Queen Elizabeth has passed on, and our head of state is King Charles III. But the distance between Buckingham and Belmopan can be cosmic, and that's why the Queen's honors, the very last one, which were announced in December, were just handed over in an investiture ceremony today. The Governor General gave some context in her brief remark.
Citizens of the 14 Commonwealth realms, of which Belize is a part, can be awarded the Order of the British Empire, which rewards service in a wide range of areas, from entrepreneurship to community work to individuals whose contribution to society or in their fields have had a meaningful impact. The monarch has the sole right of conferring titles of honor on deserving people based on the recommendations of the Belize Cabinet. Commander of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, CBE. The CBE is awarded to individuals for having had a prominent role at national level or a leading role at regional level. CBEs are also awarded for distinguished and innovative contribution to any area. Officer of the Order of the British Empire, OBE. The OBE is awarded to individuals who have made major contributions at a local level or whose work has gained a national profile. Member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE. The MBE is awarded for an outstanding achievement or service to the community, which has had a long-term significant impact.
Major respect to Dara Robinson for being the first person to get an MBE in a Lucky Dube t-shirt. The other recipients of OBEs are Ms. Florencia Castillo for contribution to the community, Dr. Marcelo Coy for contribution to the medical profession and the community, Elena Smith for contribution to education and unionism. OBE honors were given to Justice Michelle Arana for contribution to the field of law and public service, and Gordon Rowe for contribution to entrepreneurship and the community. And the day's highest honor, Commander of the British Empire, was conferred upon Sean Finstein for service in entrepreneurship and to the community. The Finsteins have been royally favored this year. His father, Ralph, was knighted by Prince William in March. And finally, tonight, a Belizean delegation, including Minister of State Chris Coy and Minister of Sustainable Development Orlando Herbet, is currently in Egypt for COP27. Meanwhile, here in Belize, the Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean hosted a climate change workshop. ECLAC's statistical division is collaborating with the government to enhance their monitoring of the effects of climate change in order to better respond to it. Today, the Deputy Chief Environmental Officer and the representative from ECLAC told us more.
It's for us to develop a core set of indicators related to climate change and disasters. So it's really important for us to start to monitor, to evaluate policies, to define vulnerable areas, and those things that are related to climate change, which are not currently being monitored, so that we could make better decisions. There's the COP27 that is happening right now, and one of the areas that has been identified is the weakness in terms of data and indicators. And so what we are trying to do in here is to develop that framework for us to be able to generate the information that is necessary and the indicators, different statistics, so that we could make better decisions in terms of climate change and disasters.
The end goal is for us to enhance capacity in the production of these indicators that I mentioned, data and statistics related to the environment, to climate change, as well as disaster, to enhance the capacity to produce, to use the data that is produced, to disseminate the data that, or the indicators that will be produced, and to sustain the production and dissemination of those indicators with the hope of using the information as evidence to improve data, to improve our policy formulation and implementation of policy in terms of monitoring of policies that are, and strategies that are designed to enhance the environmental sustainability as well as the resilience to the impact of climate change.
The workshop will end on Friday, and that's all we have for you for tonight. Thanks for watching With Your News. I'm Indira Craig. Remember, you can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a great night, stay safe, and join me back here tomorrow at 6.